Cruise news time, and I think we got to pay attention to this one. One of the world's largest YouTubers, Mr. Beast, just featured a cruise ship in his latest video. Will this be good or bad for cruising? He rented the whole thing out. That's a little bit of a spoiler. Also, we have passengers isolated, locked down on a cruise ship. Again, I didn't think we'd have this story for a while. MSC has taken ownership of a new cruise ship, and it's a milestone day for a brand new Carnival cruise ship. Cruise news and my views. Also, I got a crazy elevator story. Cruise news and my views. Some people are so rude. Cruise news and my views. Let's talk about it. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Lido, Loca. I'm your host, Tony, here with the latest cruise news and views for October the 24th, 2022. And that's right, I'm back. I am back in the Lido Loca headquarters here on the nature coast of Florida after a wonderful 8-day cruise to the Southern Caribbean on Royal Caribbean's Allure of the Seas, only home for a few days. We head back to Miami on the 29th of October for the annual Lido Loca Halloween group cruise. I'm super duper excited about that. I did take the last 4 days off. I know that folks noticed that. I appreciate you guys wondering where I was at. You know, I just thought, let me just chill for a little bit. And things are changing. The times, they are a-changing. Looking at YouTube, the cruise news not as predominant as it used to be. And I really have been trying to evolve this show into talking about cruise news and other things in pop culture, other things in travel. And so I'm still feeling that out. I'm still looking at the numbers. So I took the 4 days off to understand that if I didn't make a video at all, how many people are viewing the old videos or the somewhat current videos in that cycle and what my run rate was, all of that. I also put the poll out there if you'd like to go participate in the poll. Do you watch the show every day? Do you watch it a few times a week? Do you hardly ever watch the show? And it's interesting, I think I'm going to try a little schedule, if I can do it. I love making stuff on a daily, but I may try a schedule where I make something every other day and see if as many people watch that as people that are watching the show on a daily basis. It may not be like that, and after a week or so, I may be back to daily, but I just want to see what the right cadence is kind of post when the news was so predominant. And again, I continue to try to evolve the show. So today I've got some interesting stories for you. And the first one I want to talk about is, some might find it significant, some may not find it significant, but Mr. Beast, one of the world's largest YouTubers, featured a cruise ship in his most recent video. Is that good or bad for cruising? But before I tell you about the Mr. Beast cruise appearance, let me show you this video clip. This is from one of my other favorite YouTubers, Casey Neistat. He's a New York guy, and he's always, I think he likes cruise ships. I don't know that he goes cruising, but the beginning of his most recent video features a Disney cruise ship. Check out this footage here. Pretty cool shot of a Disney cruise ship early morning in New York. And then Mr. Beast's video, a really big highlighting of a cruise ship. He actually rented out the Margaritaville at Sea cruise ship just for an hour. How much do you think it costs an hour? I'm not even going to show the price here. Go check out Mr. Beast's video, but he spent some time on this cruise ship. It's interesting, the two crew members that he interacts with, I got to interact with on there, so it was a neat connection. And it begs the question, is this good or bad for cruising? I know there's a contingency of people out there that thinks YouTubing and content creating and social media is bad for cruising, that they're obtrusive, that they get in the way, but I think this kind of exposure to cruising is a good thing. That's my opinion. Casey's video that has the Disney ship at the beginning of it, it's garnered 1.2 million views in the last 3 days, which that means that's a lot of people that possibly could be subliminally getting the idea that they may want to go on a cruise. But again, Mr. Beast's shout out to cruising, involvement of cruising, even bigger and more straight in your face. And 21 million people have watched that video in 1 day. That's what I'm saying, Mr. Beast getting it done on YouTube. Me, I think it helps cruising, right? I would love to be able to see Mr. Beast's analytics. I'm assuming that his demographic skews younger than what I would say like our demographic, cruisers demographic. And so I like the idea that 21 million people are getting exposed to that cruise life, and hopefully that maybe turns some people on to going cruising. But man, I tell you what, when you love cruising, like I'm assuming most of us do, you're always on the lookout for cruise ships in popular media. I'm always looking for cruise ships on, YouTube. Have you seen a non-travel person highlight a cruise ship in any videos? If so, shoot me an email. Send me an email, tony@lalidoloca.com. Do you think this kind of exposure is good or bad? Do you think that YouTube and social media is good or bad for cruising? Leave a comment below. Cruise news story number 2, we've got a COVID lockdown. We got us a good old hoedown COVID lockdown. It's been a while since we've had a COVID lockdown, but it's interesting. This one is happening in Western Australia. And so we've talked about it before. We're seeing Australia go through the same cycles that we went through in the US as cruising restarted. So cruising just restarted in Australia, and now the governments and the health officials and the cruise lines, they're all working through what ifs when it happens in Australia. The Coral Princess just docked in Australia, 1,900 passengers and crew on board, and 100 of them, some mix of crew and passengers, they have identified tested positive for COVID. They have to isolate on that cruise ship for 5 days before they are allowed to leave. That's basically the story. It's the same lockdown outbreak stories that we saw here in the US. And it will be interesting to see if this hinders cruising in Australia or if it is just, the way it turned out to be here in the U.S., where it was managed by the cruise lines in conjunction with the local health authorities, and cruising continued. I would anticipate that cruising continues, but it's one of those flashpoints whenever you see the media is running wild a little bit in Australia, much in the same way that, it did over here. So, but yeah, we got us a good old-fashioned COVID lockdown over there in Western Australia. Hopefully everybody is good and that it won't impact cruising too much. Coral Princess, it's no fault of the cruise ships. COVID's everywhere. All right, there's that. That's cruise news story number 2. The big thing I want to talk to you about after the call to action subscribe deal is a guy that I ran into on the Allure of the Seas that was wearing a Pinnacle badge proudly, and then acting like a horrible I would never wear a badge and then act like a horrible person, but this person did that. I can't wait to tell you that story, but I do have a couple more cruise news stories. Cruise news story number 3, MSC Cruise Lines they have received their newest cruise ship, the MSC World Europa cruise ship. It's the world's largest LNG cruise ship, liquefied natural gas. LNG is the path to a cleaner running cruise industry. At least that's the technology that the cruise industry is running with now to get themselves one of them better environmental profiles. And well, like I said, the MSC World Europa is the largest one. It was delivered to MSC by the shipbuilder Chantier de Atlantique. And well, now that's the 20th ship for MSC Cruises. They're coming, y'all. They're coming again. If they get some positive traction, if more and more people love them at their price point in North America, MSC is a force to be reckoned with. It's been a minute since I've been on an MSC cruise ship. Meraviglia last year. I need to go on another MSC cruise ship and see what it's like, even post testing and masking and all that stuff. So yeah, there you go. Another cruise ship coming to the worldwide fleet, and the MSC cruise fleet up to number 20 now. I think that's more ships than even NCL. How about that? Cruise news story number 4. Let's talk about the brand new Carnival cruise ship, the Carnival Luminosa. Carnival Luminosa, it used to be the Costa Luminosa, but they took that ship over there to Italy and got it a makeover. It dry docked in Italy, it went in as the Costa Luminosa, and it came out of dry dock as the Carnival Luminosa. There were some Carnival things added to that ship, like a Guy's Burger, Punchliner Comedy Club, a couple other things. Of course, they painted the whale tail Carnival colors, and now it's making its way to Australia to do Australia cruises, and it made a stop in Singapore. So we're starting to see some milestone stops for the Carnival Luminosa. The first time the Carnival Luminosa has ever stopped in Singapore. That is the news that is just occurring right now. It's exciting. Eventually that ship will make its way back to Alaska, where folks can go and try the Carnival Luminosa, or you could go to Australia and try the Carnival Luminosa. It will be interesting. It still has some Italian flavor, but it is now in the Carnival fleet. It's in the same class as the Vista and the Horizon and the Panorama. I think there's a little bit of difference, but it's essentially the same ship as those ships. Way to go, Carnival Luminosa. Somebody said it sounded like the Harry Potter when they cast the... Did anybody really love Harry Potter? I know there's some Hufflepuffs and Slytherin out there that I never got into the Potter. I just want to say, in the climactic final movie where the big battle went down between Harry Potter and Voldemort, which I don't know why I know all that. I slept right through the whole thing. Hate me if you like. Do you what's better? What is better? Nerd alert. Nerd alert. What is better out there? Is the Harry Potter series better or worser than the Lord of the Rings? Which one is gooder? Which one is your favorite? Are you a fan of the wand or a fan of Gandalf the Grey? None shall pass. I don't know. I'm going Lord of the Rings because I'm right. All right, I got to tell you about this super duper rude dude that was wearing a pinnacle pin on the Allure of the Seas. But before I get there, let me quickly invite you to subscribe if you like staying up to date with everything that's going on in cruising. You guys ready? Please consider subscribing with the notification bell on. That way you don't miss out on any of these episodes. Thank you in advance. And look, I'm rocking the Monsters of the Lido shirt. I got mine in. Remember, there's 3 options. There's the Ghost Pirate, there's the Sailor Zombie, and there's Captain Frankie. I mentioned before which one I was going to get, but let me do a twirl. I love this shirt. I will wear it beyond Halloween. These are for sale right now on our Teespring store. I will leave a link for that in the description, but get you one of these and rock yourself a Monster of the Zombie. Represent the Loca fam. I know this isn't a traditional cruise shirt, but hey, aren't we just a house of misfits over here at Lido Loca? And House of the Dragon. I caught up on those 2 episodes. Wow, that was good. Okay, let's talk about Pinnacle Paul. That's what we'll call him. I don't know if that's what his name was, but I've had a couple of experiences like this. This is an elevator story. One of the days on the cruise, I was going from deck 4 to deck 7 to my cabin. We were located on deck 7. We were in cabin 7250. For those that like to know what cabin I stayed in, we were on deck 4 going to deck 7. It was just me. And I get on the elevator, and as I get on the elevator, Pinnacle Paul is over in the corner. There's a digital display to touch the thing, but then there's also some physical buttons, and he is jamming a button over there. Like, it's lighting up white, jamming the button. So there's also buttons on the other side. So I push 7 so that I can get to door 7. And then as the door closed, he quits jamming this certain button, and he goes the full press. The full press. Now, I don't know if you know this, but there is some talk out there that if you hold the button down for the closed door button, which was the button that his finger was depressed on, if you depress that button and hold it down, it will skip all other floors and take you directly to your floor. The doors will not open. You will not pass go. You will not get $200. I think it's a myth that has been busted, because we were on deck 4, the elevator stopped on deck 5, much to the chagrin of Pinnacle Paul. Now, the reason I call him Pinnacle Paul is he had on like a badge. He had I'm a man. He had on like a badge. He had on like a loyalty badge. I guess once you get to the Pinnacle level, they give you a badge, and I didn't see his name on it, but it just was a badge, maybe to indicate that he cruised a lot with Royal Caribbean. And so, but yeah, much to the chagrin of Pinnacle Paul, the elevator stopped at deck 5, and the door opened, and kind of an older gentleman got on, and with a slow gait, he was walking a little slow, and as soon as this older gentleman passed the threshold of the door, boom, Pinnacle Paul starts hitting the closed door button again, boom, 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 and it's working. The door's closing. Well, as the door is closing, the older gentleman with the slow gait, his wife, who equally had a slow gait, made her way into the threshold, and she almost got crushed to death. Almost got crushed to death by the elevator doors. Now, the elevator doors will not crush her to death because there's sensors in there, but they were moving in on her, Indiana Jones style, enough where she had a little one of these, and the door got back open. She got back on, and the guy, like the slow gate guy, was he was looking at Pinnacle Paul like, what is going on here? And you could see there was a little nervous tension in the elevator. The door closed, and so the guy, I guess in his best effort just to be in the moment, said, "Hey, we all going up?" And Pinnacle Paul, without missing a beat, finger depressed on the closed door button, said, "Yeah, I'd sure like to." It was, look, I get it. I get it that we all have places to go. The people got off before I did, and then Pinnacle Paul got off, and it was a bizarre scene. And look, to be fair, to be fair, the only thing that there's two explanations to, well, there could be multiple explanations, but the two winning explanations in my mind is, number one, that Pinnacle Paul was an impatient jerk, and he thought because of his Pinnacle status that he should be able to just skip hanging out with the plebs like us who weren't Pinnacle, and he should be able to just go whiz-bang all over the elevators. He needed his own special elevator. That could be number one. Or number two, he could have had to gone to the bathroom. And as I get older and older, I got a lot more respect for the need to go to the bathroom and the inability to prevent it from happening in a way that we could when we were younger. So I'm giving Pinnacle Paul a little bit of a pass. I hope that he had some sort of bathroom issue and that's what was causing his rudeness. I really don't want to think that he was just a guy with the Pinnacle badge saying that, look, nobody else should be riding my elevator. But I guess the takeaway, I guess the pro tip out of this is I don't think the pushing the closed door button is the way to go. And I saw a lot of people do it. I saw young kids, I saw old kids. Everybody's trying to get the door closed. And if you're on a large ship like Allure of the Sea, sometimes you have to walk a few elevators to get there. Man, for goodness sakes, do your fellow man a favor and maybe push the hold open door button until you know for sure that nobody's getting on. And look, this elevator etiquette video should be required watching. If you've not seen this and if you're curious whether you have good or bad elevator etiquette, I'll watch this video next. This is Tony for Lido Loca, and until the next time, we'll see you on the Lido. Bye.